What's going on, Packers Nation? Victor here, and I need you locked in, because what we're about to talk about could quietly decide whether this team takes the next step or wastes a championship window. The Packers are in win-now mode. We all saw it the moment they pulled the trigger on that blockbuster move for Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys. That wasn't a rebuild move. That was a "we're coming for it" move. But here's the problem. Green Bay is currently over the cap, and free agency is about to test everything Brian Gutekunst believes about this roster. Today, we're breaking down 5 realistic targets the Packers could actually sign in 2026. And trust me, some of these names might surprise you. First, let's talk about the defensive line. There's a veteran interior disruptor out there, 31 years old, still explosive off the snap, still capable of collapsing the pocket from the inside. He's not in his prime anymore, but he's the kind of player who can give you 3 to 5 sacks from the interior and command double teams. After moving on from Kenny Clark, the Packers leaned heavily on youth, and the production just wasn't consistent enough. This guy wouldn't break the bank, but he would immediately raise the floor of that defensive front. Now let's shift to the secondary, because we all know that's a need. There's a young corner out there, former first-round pedigree, physical at the line, aggressive in coverage, and coming off a season with 41 solo tackles and 9 passes defended. He only had 1 interception last year, which might scare some fans away, but when you turn on the tape, you see tight coverage, you see competitiveness, you see upside. And in a defense that desperately needs stability on the outside, this could be a long-term answer, not just a patch. Then there's edge depth. There's a former first-round pass rusher bouncing around the league. Still athletic, still twitchy, still untapped potential. The production hasn't fully matched the draft status, but at the right price, that's exactly the kind of rotational upside you take a swing on. Cheap, motivated, something to prove. And now, quarterback. Because as much as we love Jordan Love, we all saw how fast things can change when he went down last season. There's a veteran backup out there. Mustache energy, gunslinger mentality, 2 previous seasons as a starter, and playoff experience in chaotic environments. He wouldn't cost much. He knows how to manage games, and most importantly, he can keep you afloat if disaster strikes. You don't want him playing, but you definitely don't want to be unprepared. And while we're talking about additions, we also have to talk about the potential loss of a defensive captain, a 128-tackle linebacker entering his prime, projected to command around 3 years, $40 million. If Green Bay lets him walk, that leaves a massive hole in the middle of this defense. So here's the real tension heading into free agency. Do the Packers spend smart and spread resources across multiple needs? Or do they stretch financially to keep core leadership intact? Because this isn't just about adding pieces. This is about protecting a championship window. So before we reveal exactly who these targets are, what they'd cost, and whether Green Bay can realistically pull this off, do me a favor. If you're a real Packers fan, hit that like button and subscribe to Packers Nation Report. We're pushing toward 2,000 subscribers, and I only want the diehards in here breaking this down every single week. All right, Packers Nation, let's get into the names and figure out if this front office is about to cook or gamble. Let's talk moves. 1. Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle help we desperately need. First up, Sheldon Rankins from the Houston Texans. Ever since we shipped out Kenny Clark in that Parsons deal, we've been trying to patch the interior. Yes, Devontae Wyatt showed flashes. He had all 4 sacks between him and Colby Wooden last year, but that's the problem. 4 sacks combined from that rotation? That's not dominant. That's not championship-level interior pressure. Rankins had 3 sacks last season at 31 years old. And I know some fans will say, "Victor, he's past his prime." But here's the thing. Interior disruption doesn't always show up in sack totals. It shows up in collapsed pockets, forced throws, freeing up edge rushers like Parsons. Projected cost? Around $7, $5 million. That's manageable if Brian Gutekunst structures it right. And pairing Rankins inside with Parsons screaming off the edge, that's how you close games in January. 2. Greg Newsome, the corner. We actually need now. Let's talk secondary. Greg Newsome II is one of the most logical fits on this entire list. He had 41 solo tackles, 9 passes defended, 1 interception. Those aren't eye-popping numbers, but they're steady, reliable production. After moving on from Trevon Diggs earlier this offseason and possibly losing depth pieces like Bo Melton, this defense needs a young, stable outside corner. Newsome is projected around $9 million per year. Is that cheap? Not exactly. Is it worth it for a 25-year-old corner entering his prime? Absolutely. In today's NFL, if you don't have 3 playable corners, you don't survive the playoffs. 3. Nakobe Dean, a win-now linebacker swing. This one gets me excited. Nakobe Dean from the Philadelphia Eagles. If Quay Walker walks in free agency, this becomes a priority. Dean had 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That's impact production from the linebacker position. He's projected just under $8 million. And here's why I love this move. He fits the win-now mentality. He's aggressive. He attacks downhill. He plays playoff-style football. Imagine a linebacker course flying around behind a defensive line featuring Parsons and potentially Rankins. That's NFC Championship caliber speed. 4. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, budget edge depth. We can't pay everyone. And with Kingsley Enagbare expected to get a significant raise, depth becomes expensive. That's where Joe Tryon-Shoyinka makes sense. Former first-round pick, still only 26, flashed potential. Last season, 10 solo tackles, 2. 5 stuffs, not dominant numbers, but at a projected $4 million, that's value. In a rotational role behind Parsons, he wouldn't be asked to be the guy, just a contributor. Sometimes upside plus scheme equals breakout. 5. Gardner Minshew, insurance for Jordan Love. Okay, this one's going to divide the comments. If Malik Willis walks, and that's looking possible, we need a reliable backup behind Jordan Love. Enter Gardner Minshew of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, that Gardner Minshew. Former starter with the Raiders and Colts. Played meaningful football, managed games, competent veteran. He made just over $1 million last season. That's backup pricing. And let's be real. When Love missed time with that concussion, it reminded all of us how fragile a season can be. You don't want to see Minshew on the field, but if he is, you want someone who won't implode. That's the difference between 10 wins and 7 wins in a tight NFC race. Big picture. Can we actually do this? Here's the reality. We're $6, $4 million over the cap. Moves are coming, restructures are coming. Veteran cuts are coming. But this front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive when the window is open. And right now, the NFC doesn't have a dynasty. There's no unbeatable juggernaut. This is our moment. My final take. If we land 1 defensive tackle, 1 starting caliber corner, a linebacker upgrade, affordable edge depth, and a steady backup, QB, this roster becomes deeper than it was last year. And that's how you turn almost into champion. But now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 moves do you like the most? Who's the must sign? And who are you passing on? Drop it in the comments. Let's debate it like real fans. Packers Nation. This is the kind of offseason decision that defines whether you're a contender or just another good team. Are the Green Bay Packers about to let one of their defensive leaders walk? Because right now there's real buzz that Quay Walker could command a 3-year, $40 million deal in free agency. And 2 teams are being named as potential landing spots, the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, this could turn into a bidding war. Before we break it all down, if you're a real Packers fan and you want smart, passionate breakdowns all off-season long, smash that like button and subscribe to Packers Nation Report. We are pushing hard to hit 2,000 subscribers, and I want you to be part of this growing Packers community. All right, let's talk about what this really means. The $40 million question. According to Sports Illustrated's Matt Verderame, Walker is projected to land a 3-year, $40 million contract. That's over $13 million per year. That's not backup money. That's not solid rotational piece money. That's centerpiece linebacker money. And here's why. In 2025, Walker had the best season of his career. 128 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss 2. 5 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 5 passes defended. And let's not forget, he was named team captain. This wasn't just statistical production. This was leadership. This was maturity. This was a former first-round pick finally looking like the guy we drafted. The 5th-year option effect. Now here's something that matters. Green Bay declined his 5th-year option. And what happened? He had a career year. Contract year motivation? Maybe. But I also think something clicked mentally. He played faster, more decisive, more physical. At just 25 years old, he's still ascending. That's what makes this hard. If he were 29, different story. But 25 with that production? That's a prime asset. The cap reality now, let's talk numbers. Green Bay is currently about $5 million over the cap. Dallas? They're reportedly $56 million over the cap. So neither team is in a comfortable spot. But we all know how this works. Contracts get restructured. Money gets pushed into future years. Cap space magically appears, and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has already said he plans to spend aggressively this offseason. That should make Packers fans nervous. Because Dallas also has a linebacker need next to DeMarvion Overshown, especially after moving on from Logan Wilson, they could absolutely convince themselves Walker is the missing piece, the strengths and the concerns. Let's be honest about Walker. He is an elite tackler. When he sees it, he finishes it. He's excellent downhill. He's effective as a blitzer. Those 7 QB hits weren't accidental. But coverage? That's where the criticism comes in. He can struggle in space against athletic tight ends. He's not Fred Warner in coverage, but not every linebacker has to be. If you pair him with the right scheme and strong safety help, you can minimize that weakness. And in Jeff Hafley's aggressive defensive style last season, Walker thrived attacking forward. What happens if he walks? This is the real question. If Green Bay lets him go, you're not just losing 128 tackles. You're losing your defensive signal caller, a team captain, a locker room voice, continuity in the middle of your defense, and in a win-now window, especially after trading for Micah Parsons. Can you afford instability at linebacker? That's dangerous. Championship defenses don't rotate leaders every offseason. The Cowboys factor. Now, imagine this nightmare scenario. Walker signs in Dallas. He plays at AT&T Stadium twice a year in primetime, and he continues ascending. Meanwhile, Green Bay is scrambling to patch the position. That's the risk. And we already know the Cowboys are aggressive when they identify their guy. My honest take. Here's where I stand, Packers Nation. At $13 million per year, it's expensive, but replacing him isn't cheap either. You either pay Walker and keep stability, or let him walk and spend similar money hoping someone else replicates 128 tackles in leadership. There's no discount replacement waiting in free agency with his age and production combo. And at 25, his best football might still be ahead of him. If the front office truly believes we are in Super Bowl contention, and trading for Parsons says we are, then you keep your ascending defensive captain. Period. The big question. Now I want to hear from you. Would you pay Quay Walker $40 million over 3 years? Or do you let him walk and trust the draft? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's debate it. And if you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to Packers Nation Report, and help us hit 2,000 subscribers. We're building something special here, and I appreciate every single one of you who shows up and talks football with me. This is Victor, and no matter what happens in free agency, go Pack Go!